Hello, everybody. This is Drop the Mic Live Mic. I'm China Black 007, and it is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. Tune in, guys. Let's go. As I continue to share this live right now, matter of fact, go and click the link in my bio. I'm live right now on both Instagram and YouTube. So if you cannot catch me on Instagram, I dare you to go and click the link in my bio for YouTube. Okay. This is Drop the Mic Live Mic for all of my new followers. As I continue to talk, I am going to continue to share. As you come on, guys, hello, what's going on, King? How are you? As you continue to come on, I want you guys to share my live because we are going to talk about a very, very, very important topic on tonight. Okay. I want you guys to share my live, share my live, share my live, share it with 5 different people. If you are on my YouTube channel right now, I want you guys to share my live on YouTube as well. Okay. For all of my new followers, I just want to reintroduce myself. Sometimes I like to do that and what Drop the Mic Live Mic is about, so you guys can become more familiar and more understanding of what I do and what this is. First and foremost, this is a safe space. Let's be clear, okay? What's going on, Queen? I dare you to stay on tonight and tune into this topic, okay? Triple dare you, yes. Drop the Mic is definitely a safe space, okay? I started Drop the Mic maybe about a year and a half ago now, for people, places, and things to come on here and to basically be themselves, to lead with love, laughter, and honesty, and to basically get back to socialization when we were in the mix of COVID, okay? We tapped in tonight. Let's talk about it. Yes, yes. I love that energy, Jay. I love that energy. Okay, so, a year and a half later, we are still doing that. We are still coming on here. We are still providing a safe space for people. We are still providing conversations that need to be had and to be heard, that are constantly swept underneath the rug, or there is no solution, or we think there is no solution based for us, okay? Because we're either talking to the wrong people or we're talking to people who cannot really help us, okay? So this is what Drop the Mic Live Mic is. I am hoping by the end of each and every conversation that I have on this platform that I have helped someone in some type of way, all right? Boom. Now, share this live and let's get right into it. So the topic of tonight, the discussion for tonight, the communication for tonight and on tonight is going to be grief. Okay? It is going to be grief. Wusa. So the reason why I picked this topic of discussion for tonight, and to go further into what grief is and what grief does, and what it provides for us, okay, what it takes from us, things of that nature, is because grief is a topic of discussion that almost everyone has experienced, right? We don't think so, right? Because everyone hasn't necessarily lost a loved one or lost someone in general, right? However, grief is something that we have all at some point in some form or fashion have experienced, okay? And we are walking around with grief on us. We are walking around with hurt from grief, and we are not healing. We're not healing properly. You understand what I'm saying? If anything that I'm big on is that hurt people, and it has to stop, pretty much. You know what I mean? Yes, we are human. Yes, we are going to experience things. Yes, there's even situations where God will provide us grief. You understand what I'm saying? However, we also have to learn how to cope. We have to learn how to deal, and we have to learn how to heal. Okay, this whole formation of hurt people, and we're going to continue that to go on has to stop. That's the part that has to stop. That's the part that's very real, and that's the part that is ongoing, and that's the part that needs to stop. Okay, so I am discussing grief on tonight, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm just going to share with a few more people before we really, really get into it. But while I'm doing that, I want you guys to let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I see that the comments has slowed down, so I want to know if you guys can just hear me. Just let me know if you can tap in. Grief is the topic. Okay, so I'm gonna go and pin that, right? Okay, thank you, boo. Thank you for letting me know. Right. All right, so Man, listen. Yes. Hold on. Let me accept you. Yes. And I really want this to be a learning experience on tonight. You know, sometime I have dropped the mic live mic, and I'm gonna get a little bit more with the T drop the mic live mics, but some drop the mics is really, really, really a learning experience. Okay. And I really want us to tap into that learning experience and get some type of receive the learning experience, basically. What's up, Jay? What is going on? Hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me volume up. Hold on. Ooh. Oh shoot. My fault. Give me a second. Ooh. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, I gotta move my daggone computer from my phone. It's trying to glitch. Not tonight, baby.
Not tonight.
Hold on, guys. All right, let's go. I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. So who else is this? Okay, hold on. Yes, Meek. Yes. You know I love it. You know I love it, y'all. You know I love it.
Man, what up, bro?
You know I love it. What's going on, man? Tap right on in.
All of us haven't been on live like this.
All of us haven't. I feel like we say that every time we come on. Yes. And listen, guys, go click the link in my bio. Whoever's following, whoever right now, click the link in my bio on YouTube. Click my YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube as well. I'm live right now on YouTube as well. Yes. So, you know, I want to just discuss really quick because I did my research on grief, right? I think that that's a real thing right about now, especially, I don't know, that's been like the culture lately. Like I've been noticing like weird behaviors. I've been noticing like, you know, people still are in a grieving state of mind, right? So when I talk about grief, I'm not only talking about the loss of a loved one, but I'm also talking about in terms of us as ourselves grieving the loss of ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
Yeah, you know, and basically mourning and acting out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, behaving in ways that aren't too nice to other people. You know what I'm saying? And just in life and pouring out that energy, you know, and granted, to a certain extent, it's understood. However, it's like we gotta like cut that cord when it goes to hurt people all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's really where this conversation is coming in at. So one of the things that I did not know, right, and that I researched was the different types of griefs. See, when we talk about grieving or whatever, we just think it's just one type. And to a certain extent, we don't even understand other people form of grief because we only think it's one type. So I remember, like, for example, like I remember someone grieving over somebody but they didn't grieve right away. Right? They grieve way later on. And I didn't understand it because it was so many years later. Like I just couldn't understand it because, you know, we think the normalcy is you would grieve automatically, but it didn't work like that. But what I learned tonight is that there's names and all kind of categories and shit for grief. So I'm just going to go over a few before we get started. So we have absent grief. Right? We have absent grief. When someone shows little to no signs of normalcy with grief, that is called absent grief. Okay. And I'm going to just be a little transparent at this moment. I feel like I went through that. You understand what I'm saying? I grieved over someone that I lost, and I felt up until I learned this, I felt like I never grieved. But what I did was I absent grieved, right? And then we have anticipatory grief, which is a loss of ability of independence. So remember, I was just saying like grieving within yourself, losing yourself, right? Due to whatever trauma, whatever happened in your lifestyle, whatever. You can lose the loss of ability of independence and feel, and that's a sense of grief. You know, that's where the depression comes in and you not knowing who you are. And, you know, you just feeling out of place and out of touch. We have delayed grief, which is what we were just talking about, like basically like not grieving until later on down the line. Yeah. Then we have cumulative grief, is when you don't have time to grieve because things keep happening. You're losing multiple people. You're losing yourself multiple times. You're going through a bad relationship while someone's dying. You're going, all of those different things where you don't even have time to grieve is a cumulative grief. Then you have
right now grieving my time to myself because all I keep hearing is mom, grieving.
Yeah. Right. Right. There you go. That was an example. That was a good example. Disenfranchised grief. Disenfranchised grief. When your grieving doesn't fit in with your larger society attitude about the way you're dealing with shit. So the way that you're dealing with things, people aren't agreeing the way you're dealing with things and the way you're behaving. Right? And then you have this distorted grief, which is getting stuck in a stage of anger where, we have anger is a part of grief, like one stage of grief, but you just get stuck there. So that's distorted grief. So with all of that, I know it was a lot. That was a lot. What form of grief have you guys experienced?
All of them. Yeah, I was about to say all Give me a question and I'm gonna answer for each one. That's all of them.
Word.
All of them.
And to a certain extent, I feel like more people did not have experienced all of them at some point, for sure.
I think a lot of people, especially coming from the neighborhood where we're from, we dealt with all of them. All of them, for real. Yeah, for real. And one way or another, you dealt. I second that. I feel like not just the neighborhood. I feel like at some point in time, regardless of age, I could say probably if you in your late 20s to like your 50s, you've experienced every single last one of them.
Yes.
There's no limit to which one. Oh, I've experienced this, but you've experienced every single one. What I'm saying is, living in the trenches, living in the hood, you experience all of that. Those, for you experience all of that.
That's a whole fact. Do you think that there's any right way to grieve?
I would say leaving everything in God's hands is the right way to do it. But everybody has their own way of grieving, their own time frame of grieving. So I feel like you shouldn't push it on somebody. Just be there.
Right. Right.
But that's my opinion. That's my.
But we all for the opinions. We all for Tamika opinions. We all for Jay opinions. we is opinionated on Drop the Mic Live Mic. That's who we is. And I'm gonna emphasize on that heavy on opinionated because some people be like, no, we ain't doing opinions and this and that. No, we accepting it all on Drop the Mic Live Mic.
That's just my opinion.
Right. So I looked up like how long does grief last, right? And like doing my research or whatever, they have a specific time frame. But in my opinion, I feel like there's definitely no specific time frame, right? And then going back to what I said, like if you don't even know that you're grieving, there's definitely not a specific time frame of grieving. Like you don't even know that you're grieving or that you need to grieve or anything like that. Like so there's definitely no specific time frame when it comes to grieving.
I feel like grieving, I second that. I feel like there's no specific time frame towards how long or how little you are grieving. It's all about basically your mind and your spirit actually being completely healed over the grieving. You could experience the loss of somebody that you lost 2-3 years ago, and something pop up or remind you of them, and you go back into that grieving stage because you're not. I think grieving doesn't go anywhere. It's just the level of it. It's just the level of. I don't think grieving goes anywhere because, me, for perfect example, I lost my father 28 years ago. When I think of my dad, I still, feel the pain, but it's not as bad.
Right.
As it was. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't think the grieving goes. I think we just heal, but it's still there. It's the elevation of grieving.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even though you mourn, so in other words, you you feel the loss because it's a loss that was dear. So you have the emotional grieving sense, but it's more so of the mental of understanding that this happened, X amount of years ago, X amount of months ago. I have to elevate. I have to continue forward, even though I still feel this emotional hurt.
Right.
Grieving, I think, it's not just mental; it's emotional as well.
And it's crazy because like, I don't know, like, I swear to God, like, this topic just popped up in my head 30 minutes before this. 30 minutes before this, I had a whole nother topic, right? And this topic just popped into my head. And like, I'm really glad that I did choose it, because I, like, when I started researching on it, and really quick research, I feel like ignorant, to this conversation. So like, I'm literally like learning and opening my mind right now, and opening my heart and everything, based off of this alone. And I am one to have grieved a loss to someone very close to me. You know what I'm saying? And I've grieved the loss of losing myself several times. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm gonna add to that real quick. That's funny that you picked this topic today, because I if it wasn't because you, like I said, we both agreed, we've all experienced things. There's no limit to what we've experienced. And as we're talking about it, I think back, like, a week ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago. And it's like, yo, not for nothing, I was kind of like, I won't say selfish. I was ignorantly selfish. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that you chose this topic, because it's definitely a deep topic.
Yeah, and it's just, it's just really bad, because people don't. Where Jay went?
Where he goes?
Miss. Internet connection. Jay. Let's try to invite him back. We here. Go live with Jay. Go live with
now he swipe left like I be doing.
Go live with Jay too. You say he swiped left?
I'm swiping left. Picking myself up.
There you go. And now you was on the left side before, now you on the right side. There you go. Yeah. That's what she said. She said you swipe left. Stop swiping left. It's all right. So I want to go over the 5 stages of grief, right? So we have denial, we have anger, we have bargaining, we have depression, and then we have acceptance. Okay.
I think that's all the levels to grief. I would say that's the levels to it.
Okay.
Because there's like, you go through the depression, then you go through the sometimes being selfish. So like, we're trying to learn yourself again after this grief. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like that's not only like different, like whatever's of it. I feel like those are all the levels of it. Like, you're gonna go through all of that before you get to the, okay, I'm over it.
Right. If you even think that you over it ever at some point, you know what I'm saying? So why does grief hit us so hard? Why do you think that grief hits us so hard?
Because of the heart chakra.
Explain that, Miss Spirituality. You just said something. What you just say?
If you really look at it, it's an emotion. You grieve, and when you're grieving, you're going through some type of emotion. Either it's anger, or you're sad, or you're just over it. It's some type of emotion, and it's your heart. So you're feeling something. So if you really love somebody, okay, you really love, like that was.
Why you gotta bring up that topic?
Because that's a part. That's a part of it. That's a part of it.
It's a part of it.
Jay, look, that's the denial right there. See, he's still in the denial stage. That's the denial part right there.
But you know, we're gonna grieve harder and more if that person or thing or animal. You understand what I'm saying? Because people grieve different things that you could grieve.
Yeah.
Fuck, I lost my motherfucking car. You're grieving that because now I don't got no, I'm gonna use my Chevy leg. I lost my best friend. I lost my significant other. It's something that was close to here that you cared for that you lost and it's not there anymore. So now it's the grieving part. So I do feel like that's an emotion. So that's the heart chakra right there. That's how we gotta heal it. You gotta heal that and overcome the grieving. That's just how I feel.
I like that, and I wasn't expecting that answer, so that was dope. What if I said to you that it requires more energy to work through than most people expect?
I would say
I always tell people it's not easy. I always tell people that it's not easy to get over whatever it is that you're going through, whatever type of grieving you're going through. It's not an easy process, but you gotta do it.
You know,
that's
like
the harsh reality of it.
So, like, exactly. You know, like, so let's say, for example, like we know someone that's sick and they've been, sick for a long time. Like, eventually the end all do all is going to be, they're going to wind up passing away. Mm-hmm. But we're watching them, slowly degrade. I don't know how to say it, like, deteriorate, and, eventually death is the end all do all. So we're like warming up to making ourselves okay for this moment. And we're okay for the moment. But then when that moment happens, it's like, oh my God, like this is real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's where the grieving comes in, all of that. But again, that's the harsh reality of life. And we have no choice but to get over, and it's not get over it like fuck it. You understand what I'm saying? But we have no choice but to move on and enjoy the memories of whatever it is, because there's nothing that you could do about it. If somebody passes away instantly or something gets lost instantly right then and there, or you would prepare for it, there's nothing that could be done. It was gonna happen. So it's like, grieve about it, allow your emotions to pull through. If you're angry, heal from the anger. If you're sad, heal from the sadness, so you can get to the point where you're like, I can move on with life, because at the end of the day, you have to move on.
That is so true. And that is so true. There's no end, right? That's definitely, that's a valid point right there, right? But what I think about is when I think about people feeling now they have to overwork to get to that point that you just mentioned, is the people who are controlling, the people who are stubborn, the people who feel like everything needs to go their way, even in death. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you have that controlling, and whether you know it or not, when you have that controllingness about that control about you, like you just need to control everything.
That's when God comes through. It's with everybody. That's when God comes through and says, humble yourself.
And that's when grief becomes a lot harder.
And that's because now you gotta grieve. Not only do you gotta grieve what you lost, but now you gotta grieve who you're gonna lose, because now you need to humble yourself. Sit the fuck down. You don't got control of nothing. All you can do is maintain.
Yes.
That's a fact.
And it makes you feel like you're overworking. You feel like you're overworking. Anything that you don't accept and anything that you don't allow, it feels like work. You know what I'm saying? Like you're overworking, like you're doing too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
that's
so
like a person that's controlling, right? A person that's controlling wants to have control of everything, This is this and this is that. When I'm not gonna die that way, or that's not gonna happen that way, and then you try to control your emotions when you're grieving. That shit gotta be crazy, because you can't control how you feel, stupid, because you thought you had control of everything. You didn't think or wasn't expecting to go that way.
That's a whole fact.
God said, humble yourself, and now you gotta deal with trying to control your emotions, but you can't, because at the end of the day, you got no control.
You have no control. You have no control. And that's like a gym for tonight. Like that's one of the gyms for tonight that people like really need to understand, that you don't have the control over anything but yourself. Period.
Like that's like,
you know what I'm saying?
Perfect example. I'm a reader. I'm a spiritual medium. I do readings. I sit and I tell people what has happened, what could happen, and what could come. But at the end of the day, like I tell everybody, that's just a message and that's just a word for you to realize that at the end of the day, the harsh reality is you're going to die. You got to get your shit together now.
Yep.
So now things is not going right. Things is not going this way. So what you believe in and what is it that you're going to do for you to move forward? Because the grief is going to come. You need to accept the pain from the past to accept the pain that's going to come in the future.
That's right.
Listen, once upon a time,
that's right.
Long ago.
Once upon a time, not long ago.
Right? No, I was not.
Yes, you was.
Somebody told me that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little slow sometimes.
I'm not gonna say no names, but once upon a time, somebody told me, you know what's one thing that's guaranteed to you while you on this earth?
What?
You know the answer?
No.
It's death.
That's the only thing that's guaranteed to us. Ain't nothing guaranteed to us that we're gonna die.
What is the longest stage of grief?
Unhealed.
So my experience. You said what was it?
What is the longest stage or level, as you call it, of grief?
Accepting.
The longest stage?
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Brokenness. Your heart is the main artery. Check this out, right? Your heart is the main functioning organ that controls everything throughout your body. Right? Without your heart functioning, you don't have no oxygen, no blood, no nothing that functions to your brain for you to be able to think, see, or anything. Right? Your heart pumps all the blood, and it recycles and creates new throughout your whole body to be able to control. If you have a torn heart, how are the rest of your arteries and your blood, your veins and everything functioning?
You ever notice that when you're sad or when you're going through something very emotional, notice your breathing. Pay attention to your breathing.
I've never paid attention to my breathing.
So when we start breathing differently, the oxygen is not flowing through right. So now our emotions and everything is crazy. That's why they always say we need to breathe. Whenever we're going through something, whenever we're crying, breathe. Don't worry, it's okay. Just breathe. Mm-hmm. Just breathe. If you're breathing, if you're feeling sad, just breathe. Breathe, because the oxygen needs to go through the heart so like that your brain can understand that this happened and you have no choice but to move on.
Right.
So if you are not able to, in some way, right? Because at some point in time, and I think about it like this, that we're talking about this topic. At no point in time are you 100% healed, fully, 100%, right? Think about, and I don't mean to say this like in a disrespectful manner, but when people pass away, right, and they go into the next life, something in them is not functioning to its fullest extent, right? So you have many different causes of death, whether it be suicide, homicide, murder, whatever it is. There's some extent, right? Now you look at natural causes. In natural causes, there was something that stopped functioning to cause this person to now be in eternal life and switch over. So if your heart is not functioning to its fullest potential, and you are not making the efforts to heal your heart so that your mind, right? Because people, I think what makes it worse is the fact that you operate with your heart and not your mind. You allow your heart to take over your mind.
It comes into that, and it also comes to, the ways of healing grief as well as what you believe in as well. You understand? One thing I sit and I say, learning about our different type of elements and learning about my chakras teaches me how to feel. Mm-hmm. So it's all about what you believe in. And what you believe in and how you move forward in life is how you're able to deal with your grieving. So if you're a devil worshiper and you're grieving and you're worshiping the devil, I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
But I find that interesting, Tamika, that you said that. Like You know what I love about Tamika with these topics? Because she always has like a different outlook on things, but it makes sense though. You know what I'm saying? Like, acceptance, well, from what I'm getting and from what I'm hearing you say, is basically like you're saying like that's the longest stage of grief because that's something that you have to do. Right? So when my thought process would be like depression, like as one of the stages, like how basically Jay is saying, like the brokenness or whatever, like it's depression because that's the longest. Well, what I would think is that that's the longest stage that you would be in if you're gonna be in all 5 stages at some point or whatever, because you know you be hurt and you be broken for like a long time.
You have to acknowledge it. Acknowledge the fact that you're hurt. When you get up in the mirror, right? When you get up in the mirror and you put your makeup on, right? Or for a man, when he gets up in the morning and he washes his hands, right? And he washes his face, he put his face scrub on. Acknowledge that even though you're broken, look, I acknowledge that I'm feeling this. I acknowledge that it happened, but I also acknowledge that I'm going to heal. I also acknowledge that I'm going to grow. If you can't face yourself, because in reality, the one that you're grieving, yes, it is another person, right? But you also grieve yourself when losing this person because you grieve the connection or the mistakes or whatever that you messed up.
And now you have to change who you are now, honestly.
Right.
A lot of your lifestyle is changing because you had this person in your life that you was always with or always around or always spoke to. You understand? And now they're not there, so now you have to make adjustments on how, let's say you spoke to somebody every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, and now you got to get used to not talking to them.
Yes, that's a loss. That is a loss. Word. Because,
so now it's changing yourself, and now it's time, you know, with the wires. You know how we have the wires? This is out, so now I got to sit and put this wire here and there because this one doesn't work anymore. You understand?
Yeah.
Learn how to rearrange yourself and get yourself back to normal, whatever.
I think to sum up a little punchline, something that just came to mind and where she said that was, you got to be able to tune yourself up like you tune your car up.
Yeah.
You got to have your own maintenance.
You got to have a tune up.
Provide your own maintenance.
Yep. Mm-hmm. What does grieving do to your physical?
A lot. When you win that grieving mode,
she said a lot. Not Jay walking backwards. Did that require moonwalking? Yeah.
Depression correctly, and they overeat and gain weight.
Yes.
Some people fall into drugs, and the drugs fuck up how they look.
Yes.
Some people fall into the depression and don't eat at all, start looking like crackheads and lose a lot of weight.
Yes.
So that's how it affects.
Stop throwing stuff at me.
I'm not throwing stuff at
you.
I could talk
about
myself.
Eating a lot, now eating.
But that's how it changes your physical.
Yes, you can lose your hair. You can lose your hair.
Not only can you lose your hair, but it can probably change color. It can start turning gray.
Yes.
Inside of, let me tell you something.
Yes, and it can turn gray fast. I've seen that.
I'm glad you picked this topic. Just to add on to that, it's true. If you stress too much behind grief, you could develop illnesses that you never even knew.
Ooh, talk about it, because I was about to talk about it. Mm-hmm.
I had, at the age of 23 or so, I had developed alopecia. Went through every test you could ever imagine, and they're like, "You're clear. There's nothing. You're not having nothing." I started developing big, like, bald spots on my head, and my hair falling out, and I didn't understand why. But I failed to realize I was stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God I ain't got that now, but that was something that was an eye opener.
Yeah, and you know, just to add on to that, like grief just how they say, like, what they say, marijuana is like a gateway drug or something like that. Grief is a gateway drug. Okay. Grief is a gateway drug. Grief can start multiple mental illnesses. Okay. PTSD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, manic, what else? Panic disorder, like anxiety, like grief really, you can be, I don't want to say normal, I don't want to be like no, quote unquote normal, right? But you can not have any of those things going on. And the moment that you experience grief, you can have all of those things going on. And then the sad part about it is you're in denial. You're in the denial stage of grief as well. So not only do you develop all these illnesses, mental illnesses, you can't get the help because you don't even think you have a problem until it's way too late. You know what I'm saying? And then
you're on the train one day, and when you're sitting on the train, you're seeing everything go by really, really, really quick. And then you go in a tunnel, and out of nowhere, you just start crying. That's me. Me not trying to accept things and just like, fuck it, it's okay, I'm okay, I'm moving forward. Not allowing myself to grieve, because you need to allow yourself to grieve. Me not allowing myself to grieve, and me just on a thousand. I'm just sitting down on a quiet-ass train. Nobody's on the train. It's quiet. And it's going express. And I'm just looking out the window. And as the thing, it looked like, you know how the films look when the film is about to play?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking, that's how I felt. Right. And it looked like if it was the film thing. And I felt like my life was flashing before my eyes while I was sitting on that train. And I just start breaking down crying. Why? Because I was at peace. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't have nothing to worry about, but just to make sure I get off the next stop.
Right.
My brain wasn't thinking about work, the kids. I was just sitting on the train, and my life flashed before my eyes, and I started crying, and I started saying, bitch, you need to cry out. You need to breathe. You need to grieve and get over and realize that there's nothing that you're gonna have to talk to myself. I had to really talk to myself.
Yeah.
And if you don't allow yourself to grieve, you end up looking crazy like me crying on the train by myself.
You don't look crazy crying on the train. I done cried on the train a lot.
Crying. I'm laughing at you.
I'm gonna laugh too and be like, what's the matter? I know.
I'm gonna go just like this to you. You need a hug. Come here, give me a hug.
It's funny too because I was gonna ask a question. So how do we get past grief, right? And one of the ways of getting past grief is, to allow yourself to cry. See, people don't understand that crying is very healthy. And a lot of the times when we think there's nothing going on, and like you said, we hustling and bustling, we just keeping it moving. We don't cry until it really, really hits us hard. And now we're dealing with multiple emotions within that cry. It's not just a release. You know what I'm saying?
That's when it becomes a scream.
Yes. And that's when it becomes feeling worse than you probably would have felt if you would have just, dealt with your issues, basically.
I like those cries.
You say you like those cries?
I like those cries. And I like to hear when people have those cries. You want to know what's the first question I ask them? When you was on your knees screaming like that, and you feeling all of that guilt and all of that, who you was crying to? I have everybody that. I like those cries because now who you crying to though?
Right.
You're grieving. You're having this outburst. Who you going to get out of it? Who you on your knees to? Who you crying to?
Yeah.
That's why I like those. That's why I like those cries. It's fucked up. We shouldn't have allowed ourselves to do it. But again, those are the humble moments.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, yeah, God, you humbling me for me to come to you.
That's right.
That's why I tell everybody.
That's right.
When you was on your knees, that you were screaming, because you know those.
Yep.
Who you was doing that? Who you was letting that out to?
That's a whole fact. Another one is practice self-care, right? And a lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people don't do it because they don't know how to do it. Self-care. Their version.
And that's why I'm grateful for prophets and mediums,
yeah,
and spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people don't know how to do that, then that's when people gotta come. They gotta come to us.
Right.
Self-care is not only getting your hair done and
Mm-hmm.
putting on your lashes and doing your nails and your toes.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is sitting down and breathing and meditating and praying and doing your affirmations and knowing who you are. That's self-care, and that's where we come along.
Yeah. And like you say, a lot of the times staying grounded.
Yes. So that's self-care. That's part of self-care. And that's why I always say I'm grateful for people that know how, because you can't, the doctor's gonna tell you just take motion, just take a solo.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You have others gonna sit and say, go sit in a tub and take a bath and do some aromatherapy. Eat differently.
Yes.
Take better care of yourself.
Explore your spirituality. Welcome the support of others.
Moody.
Right? Moody, what's going on, Miss Moody? Welcome the support of others. Express your feelings, right? Acknowledge that you have feelings. That's a big deal. Like, that is a big deal. People do not acknowledge that they have feelings. People are scared of their own self. Like, really and truly, And that's a big deal because that's a part of the hurt continuing on to hurt. You know what I'm saying?
And that's also a part of what they were taught. Sometimes it's a part of, like I said, people that come from like certain areas and that come to go through certain things in their life, they were taught not to grieve that way. Like especially men. Why you think I always sit and I tell my team, let some emotions out, because some men are brought up saying, don't cry.
Yes.
You a bitch if you cry.
Yes. But it's just messed up because I'm just like, it's just messed up because it's just messed up though, because it's like we don't express our feelings in the way that we should express our feelings, but we still express our feelings. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And yeah, there's no time clock on grief. It looks differently. Absolutely, Moody.
Some people would express their feelings just by being assholes. Some people would express their feelings by just shutting the fuck up. That's expressing your feelings too. Like,
yes, silence is loud.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In so many ways to that people express it, they just think they're not expressing it.
Yes, but we don't express our feelings in an effective way. 9 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? To where we can get something done and there could be some type of solution for it. Recognizing, okay, so honor your loved one. That's a big one, right? When it says how to help get past grief, honoring your loved one. I didn't really understand that too much, but I do.
Okay, how you take that as?
I'm taking it as honoring the people that are still here with you.
That's one. That's one. Because honoring the loved one, there's so many. That's like a triangle thing. It's honoring a loved one, but there's so many. You understand what I'm saying? So people like myself, if I'm grieving somebody that have passed away, I'm gonna honor them by adding them to my altar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's honoring my loved one, and then honoring my loved ones that's still here, like making sure I'm spending as much time as I can with them. That's honoring the living one, and then honoring the ones that's not here, the ones that you really are grieving.
Yes, your ancestors. Yes. And the people that have passed. Yes, absolutely. There's no. Is that your son? Certified ghost?
No, that's not him.
No, okay.
That's not him.
Hello. And then postpone major decisions. I was a little taken back by that one too. Like postponing major decisions.
I think what that one is, I understand that one. That's like, let's say I have a big ass event to do in next month. I got a big event to do, but knock on wood, something happens to one of my kids. I can't do that event. I need time to grieve. That's what that is. That's what I feel it is.
Yeah.
That's too big of an event for me to put my brain to because I'm grieving something.
Right.
So if it's something really, really big, let's say like the bills need to get paid. I can't deal with that this month. I need somebody to deal with that. I don't want to deal with major choices because I'm not in the right mindset or place emotionally to sit and do it. So that's what I feel that's what it's saying. Don't avoid the major things until you feel you're ready to take over that stuff again, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, and you don't want to make the wrong decisions based off of a temporary mood. Yeah, absolutely. So how does grief end? Acceptance.
When you heal, acceptance, acknowledgement. You got to acknowledge that you feel the pain, you know the pain exists, but you also are aware that you need to heal. You also are aware that the pain will subside, and that the grief that you're experiencing right now, the pain that you're feeling right now, will not last forever. If you gotta acknowledge that it's not forever, you're gonna start to understand, and you're gonna start to, feel the change.
Picture a cup. Picture this is a cup right here, right? This is a cup. And as you grieve, your cup is emptying more and emptying more, but you're filling up another cup.
Right.
You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So now you're like, oh shit, but because I released and I went through the trauma or went through whatever it was that I went through, I grew something. I grew more. I learned something new about myself. I learned something else that I had to deal with. I learned my spirituality. I learned different ways of self-care. Then you get to the point of acceptance. Now that new cup is full. Now you can go by and move on and empty that cup. And you understand what I'm saying? So that's how it's like a...
No, you're right. I said so. Two things. One of the things I said we definitely can't overcome grief. I said we don't. I said we accept that we are human and that we are hurting and that we don't like the way we feel, so we must change it. Right? And I emphasize on that because like we have to change it. Like we have to go through all of those stages and to get to the point of understanding that. And nobody else could do it for you. And you can't get to the end result without going through those stages. Because it's just going to keep bringing you back. It's going to keep being a domino effect and keep bringing you back.
I really 100,500 billion, trillion, bazillion, and I know that's not...
Damn!
I believe...
I believe in miracles.
You can't do it by yourself.
No, you can't.
You can't do it by yourself.
You can't.
You need to allow people to see you for who you are and see that's who with the space that you're in is not you, and allow them to help you heal, because you can't do it by yourself.
No, you can't. You can't do it by yourself. You definitely can't do it by yourself. And you have to be open. You got to be open because you know what? You already open. You already in a vulnerable state. You already open. You understand what I'm saying? As much as you think you're not, you already open. So you have to receive the good with the bad. Like the bad is there. You've already accepted it. You accepted the bad. You in it already. So you have to be accepting of there can be a light to this. You know what I'm saying? Some type of peace of mind to this, whether it be big or small, indifferent. It doesn't even matter who it come from, what it look like, or whatever case may be. The message is there, and you have to be open to that message. You know, so, but you definitely cannot get to the end result without going through all those stages and doing the work throughout all those stages. That's the main key. Like a lot of people don't want to do the work. A lot of people don't want to accept that there is work. A lot of people just, they just want to fly by night through everything. And
people go through the stages. Like one way of dealing with people feel is okay to deal with grief is over like I could admit I used to smoke a lot because I just didn't want to deal with it. So I felt like me smoking a lot, I wasn't dealing with it. And then when I wasn't high, I had to deal with it. So when I'm high, I don't got to deal with it. You understand?
Right.
So that's one, that's fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's one way of like coping with it.
That's one way of people, try to cope with it or whatever. But there was something else I wanted to say, but I just really just high. I'm high, y'all. That's what happens when you're high.
It's I'll go into something else real quick while you think about what you were saying. So they say the most intense type of grief is complicated grief. So that's like the type of grief that's painful emotions, and they're long lasting. They're severe, and you have trouble recovering. So that's a complicated grief. They say that is the most intense type of grief, right? I could see that. But you know what grief is scary to me? The absent grief. With absent grief, it's kind of like you're not grieving, but you are grieving. But it's so weird because you can literally like forget everything that happened prior to the trauma. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so if something happens, some type of trauma happened or whatever the case may be, like you can literally forget everything that happened before that trauma.
Yep, that's true.
That is scary. And to a certain extent, that ain't called being bipolar because I'm not bipolar. That is the transparency, for the night. Like, you can forget everything. And up until tonight, I thought that was normal. But that is different. That's different. That's more than denial. That's literally like a blockage in your brain. Due to either not, I don't know, like I guess either not wanting to deal with trauma, or the trauma was too bad, or something happened, some type of deficiency happened in your brain. So where whatever type of memories.
When you expecting, that's the brain. When you're expecting, when the brain doesn't understand, our heart is like, okay, what's going on? The brain does not understand. We gotta pump more. Because the brain is not understanding something.
You said when the brain is not understanding, that's when you'll go through that.
The heart starts overworking. Because the brain was expecting.
What
everybody said. I did not think that was gonna happen. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Who would have thought that would have happened? Everybody's the brain expecting things to be the way it's supposed to be, and then when it happens, now the brain is like, what the fuck, going crazy. Now the heart is like, oh shit, we gotta get this bitch back together.
But even with that, Tamika, I don't think anybody really it's too much going on that we don't expect. And people still have vivid memories of these people, places, and things prior to that episode and everything. Like, that is a whole different beast when you cannot remember anything that happened prior to that trauma.
That's where the healing got to come from. It's the brain. That's a mental thing. It's the brain.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's definitely like and then in a weird way, to a certain extent, it's like a coping mechanism. It's definitely like a coping mechanism, because when you want to move forward, like anybody, like when they want to move forward or whatever the case may be, you just want to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't mind being in it all day, every day, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, when you want to heal and you're a healing type of person or whatever, you want to feel good. You know what I'm saying? And a part of feeling good is moving past whatever's hurting you. So you like urging and striving to get to that point where you feel good, even if it's for a little bit, even if it's temporary. So it's like, with that though, like, to not remember something prior to your trauma, that means a coping mechanism.
That we use, you lost 1%. You gotta think of it like
say that again. Say that again.
The 3% of the brain that we use, That means you lost 1%.
Which means that you lost your mind. You lost 1% of your mind. I be telling you, I ain't working with all the schools. I just be looking like I do.
10% of your mind and 10% of your soul.
To gain.
You lose your mind to find your soul.
Exactly.
You say you lose your mind around your soul?
Right, but you said. Don't confuse it, nigga. Sorry. Some people only find their soul when they lose their mind.
Yes.
And this is what I was trying to say earlier.
Yes.
When it comes to grief, is the only way you overcome it is on what you believe in.
Yes.
Because grief, you could lose 1% of your fucking brain and you lose your mind. So now I gotta figure out who the fuck I am. I gotta find my soul now because my mind ain't working. Where's my soul? How I feel? How am I deal with it that way?
Yes. Yes. And for all of those earthly people out there who don't believe in spirituality, that was a gem for y'all tonight. Okay. When all else fails, that's what it is. It's your soul. Okay. It's your spirit. When all else fails. Because this can go. But this is here. And we know that from people being on respirators, being brain dead, and still being alive. Okay.
I'm sorry, Shannon. Every time I see a picture of Jesus, what he's holding.
What he holding?
What he's holding. What's the main thing that's shining bright?
I can't see.
It don't matter what picture.
Yes.
His heart.
His heart. Yep. Yep.
Because what happened, he believed.
That's right.
That if he died for everybody, God was going to forgive us for he died for our sins because his heart. It's the heart, boo. And the heart, our heart is our soul. And the soul, the real ones are love. So when you lose your mind, you find your soul and you figure out who I love, who I have faith in, what I believe in. What you love, what you believe in is the brain. What you have faith in is your heart.
That's right.
You can know, oh, yeah, I believe it. I know I've seen it, but do you have faith in it?
That's right.
Do you have faith in it? And the only way to come over the grief is to have faith in what you believe in.
That's right.
That's the only way.
That's right. Well, listen, we did that one tonight. We did that one tonight. This topic got me chills, child. And I just want to say, like, before we get off of here, like, like I said, going back into where we first started, hurt people. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. We are in control over, we're not in control over everything, but we are in control over ourselves. And the first thing is awareness to our issues, our traumas, our, what affects us, what doesn't, what triggers us, what doesn't. Like, we know all of those things, and that's a whole fact that we know all of those things. Granted, momentarily, temporarily, we might not know it, but for the most part, we know who we are. We know what bothers us. We know what we don't like, dislike if you're a grown adult, So it's like, the hurt people, it just has to stop. It has to stop because it's leading to a generation of cruelty. Okay. And we are trying to be healed, peaceful, purposeful, beautiful, things of that nature. You understand? Not on Duncan. And we gonna end that here. Oh my God. Jay, I love you. I'm out up until next time. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all right now what the next topic is for next Sunday because I already thought of it in my head. I would love to do a topic on young parents. Okay? Young parenting. So if you know anybody who is a young parent, please send them my way because I want to have a conversation in that topic. And yes, Tamika, I just ain't want to overload you with Drop the Mic, boo, because I'll be like, and you be on here, you know what I'm saying? But please come on here, and I would preferably love a male to come on here. So if you know anybody who is a young parent that is a male, me, you, Tamika, and Jay, let's get it and let's go. Love you. Thank you. Bye.